What if I told you that you can now go from a simple AI generated image to a fully animated character inside Unreal Engine 5.8 with generative AI agents helping you through almost every step of the process? The workflow starts in Hi3D, where we will generate character designs and convert them into 3D models. After that, we will move into Unreal Engine 5.8 and explore how the latest MetaHuman features can help us solve the body and the head and generate custom animation from video references. We will also look at how to create and animate a fully custom humanoid rig outside the MetaHuman pipeline so you can build game-ready characters that are not limited to MetaHuman workflows. This video is sponsored by Hi3D, so a big shout out to them for supporting this tutorial and making this workflow possible. So without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into it. Okay, so here we are inside the Hi3D's image generation mode. You can choose your preferred model from here. Currently this is Nano Banana Pro, but you can also choose CDream GPT Image 2. Now let's enter a prompt. I want to create a fantasy humanoid creature, so I will describe the character in the prompt box. Here we have the number of images option. Generating more images gives us a wider variety of results to choose from. When the multi-view option is enabled, the AI generates the same character from 4 different angles. This is especially useful for creating accurate 3D models, as these views can be used directly as references or fed into multi-view 3D generation tools. I'm also going to switch between the available AI models and generate the same prompt with each one. Since every model has its own strengths and artistic style, this makes it easy to compare the results and choose the one that best fits the character I am trying to create. Okay, so this is the monstrous humanoid creature that I liked, and I think it could be a perfect fit for the game I'm working on. Now, since this is a multi-view image, let's select the multi-view to 3D option from here, and all 4 images will automatically appear inside the multi-view to 3D section. I've also set the output face count to the minimum available option, which is 300,000 faces. Now 300,000 is still quite high for a real-time game character, but that's fine for now. We can always optimize it later. So here is the final result. The overall geometry is actually pretty good and it follows the reference image quite well. But for my game, this still feels a little too cartoonish and slightly mechanical. I want the creature to look more organic, realistic and monster-like, so this version is not quite matching the style I'm aiming for. Now let's go back to single image mode, where I will select the image reference once more and click on the edit image option here. I'll enter a prompt to refine the design. What I want is for the creature to feel more organic and less mechanical. Alright, so this looks much better for my use case, so I will continue with this version. Now I can generate the multi-view directly from here. So now I can move ahead with the 3D generation. And as you can see, this result is much closer to what I wanted. It feels more realistic, more organic, and it fits the creature design better. So I'm going to use this as my final mesh. Now one important thing to understand is that this model is not rigged yet. So let's export it first as FBX. For rigging, we can use tools like Mixamo. Inside Mixamo, we need to place a few control points on the character. After that, Mixamo will process the mesh and automatically generate a rig for it. This takes a little bit of time, but once the process is complete, the character becomes ready for animation. The good thing is that after rigging the character in Mixamo, you can easily apply Mixamo animations to it. So now you're not just getting a static 3D creature, you're getting a rigged character that can use compatible skeletal animations. Instead of Mixamo, you can also use tools like iClone's ActorCore. ActorCore has a lot of high quality animation options, but some of them are paid. So if you are willing to pay for better animations, ActorCore can give you very polished results, but the tool you choose depends completely on your requirement. Once I imported this skeletal mesh, I created an IK rig for it because I wanted to retarget it to other animations. For that workflow, we also need to create an IK retargeter. However, after creating the IK rig, you can see that the IK bones are extremely large. This was causing issues while creating the retargeted animations. This seemed to be a bone scaling issue. It may have happened during the auto rigging process. I am not completely sure about the exact cause. You do have the option to manually change the bone scale from the skeleton tree here, but in my case, I used my GPT Codex agent and it automatically scaled the bones down so they fit properly with the intended bone and rig size. Now when I use this mesh for retargeting animations from other characters, it works perfectly. So this is how you can bring in other animations as well. If you have any Mixamo animations or any other animations with a compatible skeleton, you can retarget them and use them with this character. And here you can see that I also added a simple facial bone setup and skinned the mesh to create some basic facial animations. Honestly, I did not rig it manually. I used Claude Code for that. I didn't expect Claude to be able to rig skin and animate facial bones this accurately. Now it wasn't perfect on the first attempt. It took quite a few iterations to get the result I wanted. But considering how manual this kind of work used to be, the progress is pretty remarkable. Here you can see I'm using Codex to create gameplay functionality around this mutant character, which I'm going to use as an enemy AI in the game. For this enemy, I need a complete setup, the character blueprint, animation blueprint, AI assets, and all the supporting logic required to make it functional. The basic behavior is simple. The mutant should detect the player, chase the player, and attack when it gets close enough. And this is where agentic AI becomes really useful. Claude Code and Codex can help create blueprint logic, set up animation states, add nodes, create connections, and automate many of the tasks we normally have to build manually inside the editor, as long as they are connected to Unreal Engine through a compatible MCP server. With Unreal Engine 5.8 introducing its own built-in MCP server, this kind of workflow is going to become much easier. Okay, so here is a simple gameplay test I created using this setup. This really shows how powerful the workflow can become. Hi3D helps you generate characters, auto-rigging tools help prepare them for animation, and AI agents help turn those characters into functional gameplay assets inside Unreal Engine. Okay, so now let's create something much more humanoid in nature. For this example, I'm going to create a fairy character. I've always wanted to make a turn-based fantasy fairy game, and if I ever build that project, this kind of character could easily become one of the main characters. This time the goal is to use the latest Unreal Engine 5.8 MetaHuman pipeline. I've already covered the older MetaHuman workflow in my previous videos, so you can check those out if you want a more detailed breakdown. But in this video, we are focusing on the updated Unreal Engine 5.8 workflow because the process has changed quite a bit with the newer tools and improvements. Okay, so the body solve and face solve are now complete. But as you can see, our fairy character has a very stylized ear shape. The MetaHuman result does not fully preserve that detail. This is expected to some extent because when a feature is very custom and far away from the standard human form, the solver may not automatically detect and reproduce it correctly. To fix that, we need to do some manual solving. The process is similar to what I showed earlier in faceform in the previous tutorials. We add matching points on both the source mesh and the target mesh, creating a one-to-one map between them. Then once we run the solve, the tool tries to match those specific areas more accurately. But here is the problem. Even after trying this multiple times, I was not able to get the exact ear detail I wanted. The general ear shape is coming through as you can see, but there is still some deformation that I could not properly solve. There are multiple parameters available, so you can definitely experiment with them and maybe get a better result than I did. Since this workflow is still new to me, I'm not ruling out the possibility that I may be missing something. But for this demonstration, I don't think this is the perfect use case. At least in my current testing, I'm not getting the result I want for this highly stylized ear. So instead of fighting with this result, I decided to move back to faceform and create a better custom face there. I've already covered the faceform workflow in a previous video. So if you want a detailed breakdown of that process, you can check that tutorial. I'll add the link in the description. Here I'm adding the matching points in faceform, and once done, use the cartoon wrapping node to solve it. Once the solve is complete, you can see the result here. This result is much closer to what I wanted, and the major advantage of faceform is that even if there are small imperfections, I can use the brush tools to relax, smooth, and manually fix those areas. That gives me much more control over the final face shape. Once I'm happy with the result, I can save the geometry and bring that exact same geometry back into the MetaHuman workflow. Then under the import section, I selected from template and added my imported head mesh. As you can see, the conformation result is much cleaner here. The custom head shape matches properly, and the overall result is much closer to what I wanted. So for now, I still prefer this pipeline, especially for highly stylized characters. Okay, so now that we have created our MetaHuman, it's time to create some custom animations. This time we are going to use Unreal Engine 5.8's Video-to-Mocap feature, which is one of the features I'm most excited to test. For the animation references, I went into Google Flow and used my fairy character reference to generate a bunch of animation videos that would suit this character. As you can see, I was able to create several videos in quick succession. For this kind of workflow where you need multiple animation references quickly, Google Flow works really well. I also like how easily it can be used to generate a batch of videos from the same character idea. Once the videos were generated, I downloaded the ones I wanted to use. Now, after exporting the character as a MetaHuman, I created a MetaHuman performance asset. For the input type, make sure monocular footage is selected. For the footage capture data, we need to use Live Link Hub to capture the footages. So I opened Live Link Hub from the tools menu over here. Inside LiveLink Hub, we need to add our video footage as a data source. So here under the data devices section, I'm going to add a mono video ingest. In this section, we need to enter the directory path where all the animation videos are stored. You can keep the videos anywhere on your hard drive. Now for the layout, we need to work from the capture manager view. Now let's select the video we want to process. Click the add to queue option and it adds them to the jobs list over here. Let's press the start button to start all the jobs one by one. LiveLink Hub will automatically generate the required capture data for each selected video. As you can see here, for every animation video, it created a corresponding capture data asset. This is the asset we are going to use inside our MetaHuman performance asset. Under footage capture data, I'll assign the corresponding capture data asset that was generated from the video. Once I do that, the video footage appears on the left side. But at this stage, this setup is not fully usable for body animation yet. By default, the MetaHuman performance asset is mainly used for facial capture. It works very well for animating facial data from footage. However, to make this work with full body tracking in Unreal Engine 5.8, we need an additional plugin called the Markerless Motion Capture plugin. So first, install the plugin from Fab. After that, open your Unreal Engine project, go to the plugin section, search for the Markerless Motion Capture plugin and enable it. After that, the body tracking features will become available inside the MetaHuman performance workflow. Here in the visualization assets section, we can now see the available MetaHuman character blueprints. So I'll select the MetaHuman character we created earlier. Now if you look here, we finally have the body tracking option available. Also, since this is a hovering animation, I don't want the feet to lock to the ground. So I'll disable the enable foot locking option as well. Once all of that is set up, we can click process. Now this processing step can take a lot of time. Depending on the length of the video and your system, it can take 30 minutes or even more. So yes, this part can be a little frustrating. If you have an automation setup or an AI agent connected to your Unreal Engine workflow, you can also batch process these animation assets one by one. That way you can leave the system running and process multiple animations without manually starting each one. But if you are doing it manually, just process each clip one at a time. Once the processing is complete, we can preview the animation and check if everything is working properly. And as you can see, the result is more or less working as expected. It is not 100% perfect. The head is slightly tilted and the body is bending forward a little more than I would like. But these are issues we can fix after exporting the animation. So now let's export the animation. While exporting, make sure the export skeleton option is set to existing skeleton. Then select the correct MetaHuman skeleton that belongs to your character. Once the animation is exported, you can open it inside the animation editor and make additional adjustments. I also continued processing the other animation clips using the same workflow. The raw mocap result is not perfect, but it gives us a very usable starting point. Now let's set up the clothing for our MetaHuman character. For this demonstration, I'm going to look for MetaHuman compatible clothing assets from the Fab marketplace. These can be assets provided by Epic Games or other creators as long as they are compatible with the MetaHuman workflow. Now if you want to use fully custom AI generated clothing, I don't think Hi3D is the right tool for you as it generates very high poly meshes and clothing needs to be much more optimized, especially if you want to use cloth simulation. Here we can drag in the compatible clothing folder where all the clothing assets are stored. As you can see, we now have access to multiple clothing options. We can preview them, assign them to the MetaHuman and test how they look on the character. Once the clothing is assigned and everything looks correct, we can assemble the character. Now without the fairy wing, the fairy is not completed. So I generated this wing mesh from Hi3D. And after that I brought the wing mesh into Unreal Engine and rigged it. But honestly, I did not rig it manually. I used GPT Codex to help rig the mesh and result is surprisingly awesome. With the right setup, AI agents like GPT and Claude Code, especially when connected through MCP servers, can assist in this kind of tedious manual tasks as well. Also look at these animations. These are completely created by GPT Codex from scratch. How awesome is that? Even a few months ago, it would have been hard to imagine AI agents helping with this part of the workflow. Rigging, skinning, and animating skeletal meshes have always been considered tedious manual tasks that require a lot of human intervention. Okay, so this is the blueprint character for our fairy metahuman. The wings are also attached, and both the character and the wings have their own animation blueprints. I have also developed a basic input and movement system for this character. The fairy can move around and it can also fly when we press the spacebar. This fairy flight component is a custom component. It is responsible for handling the fairy's flying behavior, landing logic, and other related movement functionality. The movement does not look extremely polished yet, but it works for the demo. I added the animations that I generated from the Video-to-Mocap system, and I am using them here. The main idea is that we can generate the meshes, use the Video-to-Mocap features, and then build any kind of gameplay system we want around those assets. Right now, this is still a very basic system. It is mainly suitable for this demonstration. Now let's take a look at this butterfly mesh that I generated and imported into Unreal Engine. I also used my AI agents to rig it. The rigging process is quite similar to the wing setup we used earlier. After that, I created a simple butterfly movement system. As you can see, the butterflies are flying around and moving through the scene. So this is a sample environment I created. It gives me the feeling of a fairy universe, which is the direction I want to explore because I eventually want to create a turn-based fantasy fairy game as well. For this scene, I am also testing the fairy movement system to see how it feels inside this type of environment. I wanted the environment to have a lot of mushroom-based houses and fantasy-style elements. This is the kind of world I was conceptualizing, and I thought it would be a perfect starting point for this demonstration. Obviously, this is still a work in progress and it needs a lot more improvement before it becomes a polished environment, but it still feels very nice to fly around in this scene. You can get the entire project from my Patreon page. If you are interested in looking into the full system and understanding how all these things are working together, then you can support me by becoming a Patreon member. I will add the link in the description. Also, if you want to try Hi3D yourself, I have added my campaign link in the description. The first 200 users who sign up through the link will receive an extra 500 bonus credit. Thanks for watching, and if you find this useful, like, share and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video.